You're listening to Chicago Stories, a podcast from City Hall featuring the stories of everyday Chicagoans, as told to Mayor Rahm Emanuel.
I want to welcome everybody back to Chicago Stories. We are with Pat Tomasulo from WGN.
Yes.
Did we get that right?
You did. This time you did.
Yeah, well, we got a new show on WGN, Man of the People.
Yes, sir.
How's it going?
It's going well. I'm sure I don't need to tell you. I'm sure you've seen or DVR'd every episode.
That's way past my bedtime.
You're waiting to binge. I understand.
What's been the biggest surprise, the biggest upside, and the biggest downside surprises?
I think trying to do a show like we're doing at a local TV station is an unbelievable challenge. I mean, we're doing a show with a staff of 6 people. Mm-hmm. You know, most late night shows, even weekly late night shows, have a writing staff of 12. That's not to mention.
But you have so much talent. You don't really know.
Well, that's true. I mean, I didn't want to say it, but you did since you brought it up.
I'm your side man.
Yeah. I'm like 6, but even still, we're still at 12. No, so we only have 6 or 7 people. So I don't think anything prepares you for how difficult it is. Mm-hmm. I think you can go in with an idea in your head of what you think it's going to be like, but until you're in it, because it's, I mean, you're in a job where the demands never stop. Mine is obviously much more frivolous than yours, but
I'm so glad you noticed
that. It's a machine that you need to feed. No matter how good your show is, the first thing I'm thinking after we tape a show is, oh my God, what are we going to do next week? So it's just a constant, but it's like an accelerated course in TV. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, I've been in TV.
Be honest, do you check your ratings?
Of course I do.
Okay.
Yeah. Did we beat ABC in the demos last week? Yeah, maybe we did. Maybe we did. And the week before, perhaps. But I'm not going to.
But who's counting?
Who's counting? I'm not going to brag about
friends. It. Right. Who's been the best guest?
We don't really. Well, you, of course, because you were on the first episode. Well, actually, Bozo, and then you would be 1B.
What gave you the idea behind this? Why did you want to do this? Or did they come to you? How did this work?
It was a little bit of both. I had wanted, I started doing stand-up about 10 years ago, and everything I've done there, even in sports, the morning show is kind of a news entertainment hybrid. So I did sports, but I also did remotes, and I also did funny bits, or at least what I thought was funny. And the goal was always to kind of
there was always a kernel of humor there.
Yeah, a little sliver, a little microscopic speck.
Very small, but you had it. But you found it.
So the goal was always just to make good TV. And as I started doing more comedy, I kind of was pulled more and more in that direction. And we had talked about maybe doing a show at GN a couple of years ago, but I wasn't really sure that the infrastructure was in place there to do a show like that. And we got to the end of my last contract, and I was between a choice. We had an opportunity out in LA, or we could have stayed here. And
we being
my wife and I.
I was going to be clear that it was not just you and the other 5 individuals.
No, they didn't come until later on. Okay. It was just my wife and I. We had to make a choice, and I think I came to a point where there is I think the older you get and the longer you get in this business, you cannot take for granted creative freedom, right? And on that morning show, they let me get away with anything. And there's something to be said for you get to a certain point in your career where you don't necessarily want to be told what to do,
Really?
And there's not a lot of that there. I mean, unless you really do something wrong and screw up, you'll get a talking to. But one thing they do there is and that's the success of that morning show, is they let us be us. Mm-hmm. And that's why the show has been what it's been for so long. So I didn't want to trade that. I didn't want to go somewhere else and start over and having
made all that investment.
Yeah, they get a complaint about something we say or do on that show. They don't react impulsively, whereas there are some other shops, a complaint comes in and they come right to you and say, "Oh my God, how could you have said this on the show? What are you thinking?" Here, it has to be really bad before they come to us and we get in trouble.
So your contract's up. You come to management and say, "Yeah, I'll stay if you give me my own show."
No, it didn't quite work like that. They were offering the show. That was
I see.
They were offering the show as a carrot to stay. we had to come to an agreement on some other non-show
whether it was a 2-carat or a 3-carat diamond.
Yeah, we had to agree on some other things. But my feeling was I would have rather started something with the opportunity to grow it here.
What's your? Well, it's always a perfect market. A lot of people. I mean, a lot of people have started shows here that then take that. So what's in your mind's eye? What do you want? Where do you want the show to be? How do you want it to be?
I would
and
like.
What does it do? How do you think it reflects Chicago?
Well, I don't ever want to listen. I mean, I don't want to pack up and go somewhere else at this point. We've been here.
We don't want you either.
We've been here.
Or at least the missus. You can go somewhere. we want her to stay. Okay?
We've been here 13 years. And, I want to grow it here. I think what makes the show unique, it's a Chicago show, but in another respect, it's not a Chicago show. In other words, it's a Chicago show like Letterman was a New York show. I don't think you need to be from Chicago to get the humor, but the show is influenced by Chicago. There's a certain sensibility. I'm not really interested in having celebrities on. I'm not really interested in talking about politics. I'm not really interested,
Since politics is now all about celebrity.
Well, everybody is doing it. I mean, I don't know what more there is to do in the realm of political comedy. There is a sweet space in there. I always say when I started the show, I said, I want to make a show where I can make fun of the things we all hate instead of the things that only 50% of the people, like the stuff that bothers everybody. So I think in my perfect world, whether this is on every day or every week, I would love for it to, depending on what ownership is with Tribune, we don't know. I would like it to be something that we can share throughout whatever station group we're a part of. So it could be in every market. And for how much it's costing them to make the show, it'd be a hell of a bargain for the station.
Yeah, we can help you on the negotiations when that gets to that point. Okay, we'll offer them a couple more carrots for them to understand. That's it. So when you say it's the man and the people, but what's your vision for the show? I get what it's not. It's not politics. It's not. What's your vision though?
It's a little bit of everything. We like to feature real characters, real people that we meet on the street. I feel like I'm at my best when I'm on the street just freewheeling it with
everyday folks.
Yeah, everyday people. That's where I feel the most comfortable. I think those organic, authentic moments with just the people you meet are the funniest to me. And the way we approach news is kind of through an everyman's perspective.
Where do you think it fits in the big national landscape, given where everything is with late night shows and everything like that?
I don't know. I mean, where does it fit? If it fits in 1/10 of their budget, that's probably where it fits.
You seem to have a real kind of problem with
Am I asking for a little bit more money? Is that obvious?
Yeah. I don't know. Is it money you want?
Would another intern be nice? Sure. One or two more interns would be nice. I don't know. I mean, the show has changed so much between where it started to where it is now, and in another 6 months, it's going to be a different show.
Why do you think, though, people? I mean, I'm struck with the role of comedy.
Yeah.
Not that comedy always hasn't held up a mirror to us in our kind of showing the warts and all.
Right.
That's always been true. That's what comedy's supposed to do. But I'm surprised at the power and prevalence of political comedy today. And because I have a view of this.
Right.
Don't know if you share it. That people are basically seeing traditional media and traditional sources as totally delegit, and they might as well they'll take it from their information.
Yeah, but I wonder if there obviously is that sense, with fake news and 50% or 60% of Republican Party or 70, whatever it was, that poll that just came out that doesn't trust. But I wonder if those are the same people who are watching late night for their news, right?
No,
I think like there was a time where people said like Jon Stewart was the most trusted newsman in America. I wonder. I don't know if the people who watch
I can't see Jon Stewart as the new Walter Cronkite.
No.
Okay.
I wonder if the people who watch Seth Meyers and who watch John Oliver have that same distrust of the media as some on the right do. I don't know. I don't know if it's a distrust, but I think they probably go to those sources more for news just because it's more accessible.
Do you ever do stand-up comedy?
Oh, yeah. For 10 years,
Do you miss kind of doing that more often?
Yeah, I do. I do. Because with stand-up, it's much more instantaneous. We work for a week on a show, right? And we'll pitch ideas back and forth, and we'll write jokes, and we'll test jokes. But you don't know how it's going to be received, right? Stand-up, I could write something that day.
And you can kind of
go out that night, and I can see if it works. And then if it doesn't, I can go to the next club and do the same thing and change something.
But keep it,
and
refining it till it gets right.
There's that immediate feedback. There's no safety net there.
Where'd you do your education then in your training for that?
For stand-up or for college?
Well, both.
I went to the College of New Jersey in New Jersey. And then
that was a good place for it to be.
Yeah. People, believe it or not, people have asked, well, where is that? It's in New Jersey, you moron.
That's kind of man on the people.
Right.
Where was it recently that people couldn't name a country?
Yeah, that was on Kimmel, I think. Yeah, they pointed at a map, name a country.
So where's the College of New Jersey?
Yeah,
it's a jump ball.
It's in New Jersey, my friend. Yeah, it used to be Trenton State College, but they decided that sounded too much like a prison, so then they changed it to the College of New Jersey. That was it. That was where I went for my undergrad. No grad studies. Straight from there to Rhinelander, Wisconsin, to a small station out there for a couple of years as a sportscaster, then Buffalo, and then here 13 years ago.
And any professional comedy training in Pat's background?
No, for stand-up, I mean,
because Chicago is the capital.
Improv and stand-up are different. I think improv is one of those things where there is definitely a science to improv, right? And I think there are building blocks you need to have for improv. I think most improv actors will tell you that. Stand-up, I don't know very many stand-ups who've ever said, man, that stand-up comedy class really prepared me for the crushing pressure of a comedy club in front of 50 people.
Well, that's no different than political science. I remember my class in college for political science.
Yeah. There's I tell like young kids who want to do stand-up, like, well, what's your advice? Do I go, just do it?
Yeah.
It's like anything else. It's so much of stand-up is confidence. It's if you can get on there and be supremely confident, even if you bomb, you get to a point where you don't care. You care, but you can weather it.
Yeah, I don't buy it. You
get to a point where
your skin is thicker. That's it.
Your skin is thicker. You care because you want to do a good job, but it's not going to affect. I can go and eat it at a club, and I can go to the next club, and that set is totally out of my mind already.
Do you think you could have done this at any other city?
This show or stand-up?
This show.
No.
Because you basically said you rejected going out west because...
Well, I knew that here I had a built-in following already. Yeah. So I knew I had a good
You mean
base.
Beyond the 6 interns that they gave you?
Yeah, believe it or not. Some of their moms watched me on the morning show and were big fans. A couple of their older sisters, too.
They're loyal now?
Yeah. Their grandpas.
This is slow and steady.
Right. Okay? That's what it is, yeah.
The little engine that could.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good.
But there is a certain, badge of honor we wear that we are doing it here and that we're doing it our way, right? We have no influences telling us really how to do it or how to create the show. So you wouldn't get, I don't think you get that opportunity.
You don't have a paradigm or a model in your head? No other show. That's cool.
No. I mean, I think there are certainly influences, but I think we're still figuring it out. I mean, like I said, we just got a full staff 3 weeks ago. And that full staff is still probably 2 or 3. It's probably 2 or 3 less than I want it to be. But now I feel like we're at a point where
hopefully management's watching, Matt. We've made a big appeal here for those 3 staff. That's your third reference there. I think I'm going to call them today for you.
That would help.
Now, so where did we meet the missus?
The missus we met in Rhinelander.
Oh, in Wisconsin.
Yeah. My first job, I was there. I moved out there.
Is she in the business?
She's not in the business.
Thank God.
Thank the Lord.
There's only space in this relationship for one.
There's only one massive ego that can survive in this marriage, and I'm the one who has it.
I know that.
Yeah.
But, intimately.
Yeah. You have to have that balance. If I had somebody as headstrong as me, it wouldn't last.
I was referring to the ego part, not the headstrong part. That's a whole separate thing.
She wasn't from there, but we met up there. I moved up there at 22.
Coming out of college
from New Jersey, so you can imagine.
That's where your school is, right?
That is where the school is, not in Connecticut or Delaware. And we, I'll just say, a town of 7,000 people in northern Wisconsin can be a lonely place for a 22-year-old kid from New Jersey for a year. Let's just say the pickings were a little slim for me out there. So I met her a year out there, and then...
Is this one of those love at first sights?
Yeah.
Or she felt some empathy for you and took you under her wing?
Well, that was definitely at least 20% of the equation for sure. I think it was more or less she saw me and I saw her, and we each looked at each other and said, "You're not from here. You're not from here. You're not wearing a NASCAR jacket. You have all your teeth. We should talk." And
this show will not be picked up in Wisconsin.
No, not in northern Wisconsin.
Not at the end of that insult.
I love it up there. I still go up there, but it's just, you know what I mean? Unless you're 22 looking for 40-year-old divorcees, it's not the place to be a woman.
What's her work then?
She doesn't work.
Okay.
So at the time, she was working for her family's construction business.
Oh.
They had a home construction business. She grew up in Florida. Her mom remarried, moved up to Wisconsin.
Florida to Wisconsin. That's
So she went up there just to kind of reconnect with her family. She had a very young brother. And then she said, "I met this guy who's making $17,000 a year."
Loser.
At this local TV station. I'm going to hitch my wagon to this gravy train. But she got sick, and then so she stayed up there for a little while, and then we met, and we've been together since.
Is her health okay now? Am I allowed to ask her? It's not
Yeah, no, of course. No, it is. It's it's not improved. Okay. It's not improved. She has a chronic pain condition for which there's no cure called trigeminal neuralgia. So there's no cure for what she has. Every day she experiences pain. She doesn't work. She's disabled. But she's tough as nails. I mean, she keeps on going. So kind of status quo.
One person has the ego and the other person has the strength.
Yes.
And that's how it works.
Yeah.
I got that part.
Yeah.
So WGN, if I'm not mistaken, you're like the first show since Bozo.
Yes.
Original.
I think so. Yeah.
I think when I go there, I think you should have your own photo down the hall. On the Hall of Fame down in WGN.
I would say.
I mean, I went down when I was there. I didn't see the Pat Tomasulo.
I'll go one step further. I wouldn't say a picture. I would say an entire mural covering the wall, because we still do line the walls with cinder block there, so it is easy to paint over in that industrial era architecture.
My instincts tell me that if
get to 100 shows.
You may get you'll have more than just a photo.
Yeah,
and maybe even more than a mural. You may have your own makeup artist.
I may have my own wing named after me. Who knows?
So let me ask you a question. When you put everybody in the room where you start Monday morning, throwing ideas around. This is funny. Like, what do you guys look at? What do you read? What do you find that kind of feeds the engine? How does it? I mean, everybody sees the end product,
right?
Give them the sausage, man.
So Mondays we come in. Mondays is our pitch meeting for our taped pieces. So what we try to do with the taped pieces is basically just find some kind of premise in which I can interact with people and break balls a little bit. So, we did something last week where we came up with a game called Tattoo Bingo, where the whole premise was I just went out with a bingo board with all different tattoo names on, and I just went and busted chops at North Avenue Beach. And the funny comes from that. So we'll pitch ideas for that, little quick shoots we can do in 2 hours like that, or bigger remotes that we have, longer term ideas that we have. You're laughing at Tattoo Bingo? You're smirking?
I'm actually not.
You got to really pick your marks carefully in that game. I'm just going to say that.
Let me say this. The tattoo idea and North Avenue Beach with a lot of skin. So that's what I was trying to put the... that's a lot of...
What you do is you don't target the guys who look like bikers. You target the guys who look like baristas. That's who you target.
They already have their own tattoos.
Yeah. Well, there was one category tattoo that makes me afraid to talk to you, and I never checked that one off.
Give me another game that you guys did kind of?
What did we do last week? We went to the Taste of Chicago and we camped outside a porta potty and waited for people to come out and just interview them. And there were a surprising number of
That must have tested your endurance and your camera.
Unbelievably, we only had...
What day were you there?
Day one. Oh, you don't go past... No, we were day one,
I was
3 hours in.
Yeah.
And I'm going to tell you what the key is. You go to the porta potties in the middle. Anybody who goes through... Don't use the porta potties in the end because those are the most used porta potties. Nobody wants to walk to the middle and use those porta potties. And we did another one where it was March Madness, and we did, instead of doing a bracket of 64, we just did... it was March things that make us the maddest. So we broke it down. A good one. We broke it down into 4 brackets, and I think one of them was like 16, like trends, like annoying trends, and then one of the brackets was all the ways to spell Megan. There's like a million ways to spell Megan, so we had a whole bracket of ways to spell Megan. Anyway, it was just a vehicle to interact with people on the street and cause a scene.
Is there one time that you remember that you were surprised at the reaction by the public and the feedback you were getting?
Like on the street doing a piece?
Yeah.
No, I'm always surprised that people are as remarkably patient as they are.
All right, given this is my show.
Yeah.
Okay, and given you don't have to worry about WGN edits.
Yeah.
Is there something you filmed once that you wanted to put on, couldn't put on, and describe it for us?
I think the
You
only
guys had
time...
a fight. You had a fight with the editor about...
The only time I've
Come on, there's got to be more.
The only occasion... has been if it's
because I would have killed the porta potty idea, but go ahead.
It's if it's that stuff they don't care about.
Yeah.
The only time I'll ever get shot down is if we're making fun of a sponsor. So you got to pay bills, but that's common throughout.
Yeah, no, I'm talking about
TV.
Something you guys had filmed. Nothing you had filmed. No idea where
I can't think of anything. No, I really don't. I think I have a pretty good gauge. Like I have a good long-term play with just pushing that line a little bit and a little bit and a little bit. Before the next thing they know, we've already advanced 40 yards, right? So I don't do anything. I'm strategic about it. I know what I can get away with and what I can't get away with.
Were you a middle child?
No, I was the youngest.
Of?
2.
Oh, that's not like...
Yeah.
So your whole life was trained. On how to get away with stuff.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
Calculating pain to pleasure.
Yeah.
All right, here we're going to do the lightning round. Ready?
Sure.
Okay. Now, I know your show
Let me get a drink first.
Yeah, this is not that hard. You can handle this. I want to know how I did on the show. How was the ratings on that show? Minuscule?
I'd have to look.
No.
I don't know.
All right, ready?
I'm ready.
Cubs Sox.
Oh, both. Whoever's winning. No, for real. Whoever's winning.
Okay.
I don't.
You're a real committed fan.
I still do sports in the morning. Whoever's going to make my job more fun.
Thick or thin pizza?
Thin.
What's your favorite place then?
Thin crust. There's a place that we order from called Pizzeria Serio in Lakeview. Brick oven place.
Okay. Sears or Hancock?
Oh boy, which one's sponsored? Laugh your face off. Both. I have to say both on that one. Yeah, I can't upset a sponsor. You know how this works.
No, they're neither one. They're called Sears. So you can get Lake or River.
Lake.
12-inch or 16-inch softball.
12-inch.
But that was you waffled on two. You were firm on.
Listen. I know. I don't. Any sport where you catch a ball with your bare hands.
Well, let me ask you a question on being a sports. You love sports. What's
I do.
Your favorite?
And speaking of bare hands, no man should bring a mitt to a baseball game. I want to put that on the public record now. I see a lot of these guys going to Cub games and they're 35 years old
kids.
wearing a mitt. Yeah. A lot of times you see them go by themselves wearing the mitt. Catch a ball with your bare hands. Okay.
The other night we were at one, somebody caught him up in the media box.
Yeah.
One hand. So it was really good. Yeah. What's your favorite sporting event?
NFL, though it's getting increasingly hard for me too.
Okay. What's your second favorite?
Baseball.
Right. March Madness is my favorite
sporting event.
I do. I think it's a great sporting event. And the kids and I, we usually go to the Final Four. But I ended up going to Boston because I was out of the country. And daughter and I, we went to the Villanova game up in Boston. So I think there's nothing like March Madness basketball.
Yeah.
I hope it never gets ruined. It's the best. Pat Tomasulo, We wish you the best. Congratulations.
We're done already? You have more important things to do?
Yeah.
Is that what you're telling me?
No, you can stay here. I'm going to go next door.
I'm going to keep going. Let's do this like overtime. Bill Maher overtime.
The wheel's up, brother.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely.
You've been listening to Chicago Stories with Mayor Rahm Emanuel. You can subscribe and leave a review on Apple Podcasts and tweet your guest ideas using hashtag ShyStories. Thanks for listening.